So, passing by an Israeli company that has a mezuzah reminded me of the mezuzah story, and Yossi from Lakewood asked a few times that I mentioned something, and I said there's nothing to mention because Zirkin already explained it very simply. He explained the poskim who don't hold by that. And on COL I saw one comment that stuck out. That's, other than that, everything's fine. It was one guy who was like, we're Lubavitchers, we go by the Alter Rebbe. The Alter Rebbe millions of times says Yesh Aimrim, always quotes others. The reason he wrote the Shulchan Aruch was the Maggid wanted people to believe that in Mezritch there are also people that know how to learn. And until the Alter Rebbe came, and I don't know who else who knew how to learn, Mezritch really had just believers. And the whole story with the Baal Shem Tov of the kid who the song, who goes like a rooster, he comes to Yom Kippur and he makes sounds like a pastach. The Alter Rebbe said, this kid doesn't know halacha, he doesn't even know which God he's worshipping. But this guy saved the day. 6 in the morning over here. So Kitzer. And then I thought of a few concepts. The shlucha here in Tokyo, she has a brother. We used to go do miftzayim together. There was one guy who had a real beautiful house. It looked like an airport. When the Chabad of Great Neck asked him to sign a paper about the building project, which the Chabad finished. It's a beautiful, magnificent place. He wouldn't even sign. Forget about giving money. And then, so a guy told me, this guy's a real misnagid to the Chabad. He's an Iranian Jew, but more of a fancy type of guy. He loved to collect cars and all those, And he wasn't he wasn't a believer. He wouldn't go to shul. Shabbos Nachmu, he saw me walking to shul from the guy's house who I used to stay by, his neighbor. And he started a conversation with me, and I knew that this guy, I have to do it right. If I don't do it right, it's up to me to do it right, because this guy's a gvir, and gvirim are important to the Rebbe. I mean, Bachram the Rebbe has a lot of, but gvirim are, every gvir, the Rebbe designed a system that you should never tell a gvir what to do. And he designed it in a genius way that the believing Bachar in 770 actually believes that it's because you could be merachik the gvir. What about telling a young pisher in Crown Heights something that would make him be miserable and depressed? That's not a problem. Never be merachik the gvir. The gvir is worth more. Everyone knows the gvir has 7 neshamas like a cat. So anyway, but in my personal case, I knew I only stand to gain, because if this gvir, I win him over, I get to keep him. I'm not going to cash him into the Lubavitch Youth or to Kotlarski. But anyway, he started a question. He asked me, where are you going? I said, we're going to shul, it's Shabbos Nachmu. I started with a whole Chassidish pshat. Nachmu Ami, we sinned double, we were punished double. Right? We sinned double, we were punished double, and now the Nechama is double. The whole thing. Anyway, he said, wait a minute, we sin, but you guys look like, and I said, nah, there's a TV show in Israel, under the black clothes, there are regular people. It was a joke, Anyway, his wife called me over one day and said, we need mezuzahs. All right, I go with my friend, who is the brother of the shlucha here in Tokyo. We did a lot of stuff there together. We're talking about people that Chabad probably could reach if it's a business deal, but couldn't reach because of these guys were just not interested in Haredis moving into the neighborhood, and definitely not building big buildings. You want to make a tiny shtibel in someone's house, quiet, good, but don't make a big building, you're crazy. So anyway, I went to the house, she asked me, I need mezuzahs, and the house is big, and it's got mezuzahs all over, and I gave the b'diavad mezuzah. I used to always ask Ichim Mishalov, it's a kosher, and then the other guy would help him, his cousin would say, b'diavad. I never understood halacha because we never had a crash course in that. You can get that in the library. The framework of halachic Judaism. How does it work when two poskim contradict? B'chlal, in every religion, what happens if two imams contradict in a Sharia law? or two galachim contradict, right? According to Christianity, a yid is b'diavad okay, even if he doesn't believe in Yashke. If he believes in the same Yudke Vavke that Yashke is based on, it's okay, right? But most of these people are not interested in the kosher mezuzah, and it's beautiful when you ask them in front of the kanoi, the Rasha, you tell them, are you interested in this guy choosing Davke the Poskim that he claims say it's puzzle? Doesn't matter. And they'll tell you, we're not interested. We want a mezuzah just like our grandfathers stuck. And when they say that, it takes a pashat yid that doesn't know what Torah is to be mevatel this big rasha. Beautiful. So a kitzer. Here's some pashta Israelis. Anyway. So think about the Pasha Tebacher that goes to Meftzayim and he does the Mezuzahs, and he's young, he's 15 years old, and he's not sure what to do. So the only guy that gets hurt is the Bacher that really believes in this whole nonsense and thinks that these Mezuzahs are puzzle and he has to remove it, return it, refresh it, this, that. So what Zirkin said was everything you need. He explains the poskim that say, the Rashba, other unknown poskim who are just as powerful. You just don't know. You're talking to the Amulets. The guy comes with a beard, and you should always know, whenever there's an Amulet, they always sit in front of a shrank of Sfarim. I explain a Taisfis in the bathtub, because that's the only time I have, and the Bachram ask. So Bibi Netanyahu has a whole shas behind him. Not that he's a big Posek or doesn't know what it is, but Bibi Netanyahu has a whole shas. So the Bacher has a whole Sfarim shrank behind him to legitimize. You can't bypass an overrun Mendelbaum and Zirkin. If you're a little schnook from a Achzaristic yeshiva in Chicago, that yeshiva is known for its Achzarias. It wasn't the Ruach of Chassidim. It's not a Chabad. It's called Chabad, but it doesn't have the Ruach of Chabad in it. A bunch of elitist kids that they ended up frying out, becoming merit supporters, leftists. They used to not walk on Kingston because they thought it was Ezes Nashim. They thought they were too frum to visit Minnesota. Kitzer. So he says a very interesting word. He says, I spoke to many rabbinical authorities, number one. Who are those authorities? If you didn't pass Zirkin and Mendelbaum, who'd you talk to? Mystery, huh? Find out, number one. Number two, he talks like he's speaking to... Who's he talking when he says the Torah, the Mezuzah? He speaks like he's talking on Chabad.org. Who are you talking to? Talk to the people, talk to Anash. Stop making it these havadas of Torah and Mezuzah. Speak to Anshe Shlomeinu, make a point, and if you could convince 20% of the poskim, then you have 20%. 20% is a lot. He didn't get the 20%. And people are, anyway, that's it. Zeitgesund.